How you doing on TikTok? Good Sunday morning, Facebook and YouTube. You know what time it is. I am Kendrick, the sports guy. We're going to talk a little NFL Sunday game preview, your preview show before these noon kickoffs get down and dirty. Again, we got our noon kickoffs about an hour and a half from now. We don't have an early game overseas today. I think the NFL, we're done with those games for the rest of the season. But again, good Sunday morning to you. Glad for you to jump in, pop in, watch the show. You know the rules here at Club Kendrick on TFG Sports Media as well as on Facebook. Got to come in, hit that like button, comment, let me know where you're watching from. And also, if you haven't already, make sure you hit that subscription button on YouTube. Make sure you hit that subscribe button. It doesn't cost you a thing. And then click that little bell, that notification bell. It'll alert you when new content, live streams like this is headed your way. And also, if you would like to contribute to the channel, you can hit my cash up right there on the screen if you're watching me on Facebook, YouTube, or if you're watching me on YouTube, there's a little dollar icon or a little thank you. You can contribute that way too. You're not obligated, obviously, but if you like to continue to help me build this sports platform, it would be greatly appreciated. But I'm also, let you know, YouTube, Facebook. I'm also live on TikTok. I got a couple of people in the house over here watching. I want to thank AJ for popping in. Who is that? Charles Henley. I want to thank you for popping in too. Stephen Branov, Leonard, Doris Leonard, the Cami X. I want to thank all you guys for watching me right here on TikTok. Make sure you click that follow button, share click that screen, hit that like as well. I definitely would appreciate it. So we're going to jump right into this thing. Let's go ahead and talk about the NFL schedule today. The games that we got coming up in the noon window as well as the late window, which we know there is a big game coming up in that late window. We're going to talk about that. But first, let's talk about a couple of the noon kickoffs. And we're going to start with, I ain't going to be a homer today, but I might be a little bit of homer. We're going to start with the NFC North Division. And y'all know my saying, if you watch me, it's always a great day to be what? A Packers fan. And we're going to talk about the 6-3 Packers at the 4-5 Bears. That's a big NFC North showdown. Your thoughts on the Mike Tyson fight? Hey, Charles, I actually did a segment on that. I did like a 6-minute segment that I posted to my TikTok. Check it out. But I'm going to talk a little bit about my thoughts on that in the freestyle moment. But we're going to talk about NFL. Antoine Hall says, bang, bang, Steeler gang. In Russ, we trust. I hear you, Antoine Hall. And the Steelers got a big one coming up. They got the Ravens. We're going to talk about that game, too. That's a noon kickoff. It's going to be I'm going to have to be flipping back and forth because the Packers and the Bears playing at noon, and the Ravens and the Steelers are playing at noon, too. So I'm going to have to be looking back and forth, man, because I want to check that game out, too. But let's start with the Packers at the Bears. The Bears are coming off a loss last week. There's been rumblings of their head coach, Matt Eberflus, is on the hot seat at 4-5. I don't know if he's on the hot seat, but I do know Caleb Williams is going to have to play better. He hadn't played well in the last 2 weeks. They're going to have to figure out. They fired their offensive coordinator, I believe, this week. So that's where the Bears are. The Bears are going to keep bearing. That's what I say. But sometimes when, they have a little success somehow, they mess around and they stump themselves in the foot. But again, being that I'm a Packers fan, I'm not going to gloat. I'm just going to give it to you how I see it, regardless. So I'm going to say this. The Packers, this could be a trap game for us because Jordan Love, I don't think he's 100% either. I think he's still having some issues with that knee, and I also think that groin isn't really healed either. And then I did read where one of our offensive linemen will not play today. So we got to go in there and not take these Bears lightly because we could mess around and take an L today because of the rivalry between these two teams. So I expect this game probably to be kind of ugly. Not one, I expect it to be an ugly game a little bit offensively. But I think that in the end, it's going to be the team that that scores touchdowns rather than kick field goals that's probably going to win this game. Because I believe when you get into the red zone, You know, three points are good, but if you get in that red zone, you got to score touchdowns, and I think that's going to be the key. I think the Packers will be able to run the football on this Bears defense, but again, we got to get touchdowns when we get in the red zone. We got to do that. So that's my thing on that. Nick Curry said Pickens or Puka. Pickens. He's the Steelers. I would go with Pickens on that. I know y'all talking about fantasy football. So yeah, it's a lot of fantasy football guys over here in the chat on TikTok. If you're watching me on TikTok. So again, Packers at the Bears. That's going to be a big NFC North showdown. That's a 12 noon kickoff. You know, the Packers. We can't lose any. We can't take any more L's. Be honest with you, because the Lions, they 8-1 in this division. They already 2 games up on us and the Vikings. So every game counts from here on out, because the Lions got a pretty easy one. And I say easy, you know, on any given Sunday, the Lions are hosting the Jaguars, who, by the way, I was just reading before I came on that their head coach might be on the hot seat. Someone, a writer said that if Peterson loses this game today, he and Balky, who I think is the GM, they could be giving their pink slips. So we're going to see about that. So Packers at the Bears, and I'm going to give my picks. I do my Kendrick's pick 6. We're going to get to that. I'm not going to give my score and what team I think will win. We're going to do that a little later. Another game in the noon window. I think my guy Harper, Steelers fan, is over here in TikTok on my chat. The 73 Ravens at the 72 Steelers. The Steelers are coming off that big win last week. Went into FedEx Field and beat the hot Commanders. And I picked the Steelers to win that game. With Russell Wilson taking over under center, man, the Steelers offense have shown some life. So the Steelers are looking pretty good offensively. Defensively, you know, they do their thing with Defensive Player of the Year, TJ Watt. Hey, what's up, little sis? My little sis is in the chat. Nicole, thank you for popping in and watching your big bruh. But the Steelers are playing some good football. And what can you say about Mike Tomlin? Tomlin just, you know, I think he's the longest tenured head coach in the league now. And I think he's never missed the playoffs. I could be wrong about that, but I think he's never missed the playoffs in his tenure. But this is going to be a good one. Another big AFC North knockdown, showdown, whatever you want to call it, because to me, this division is probably the most competitive division in the NFL. The Ravens with their dynamic duo of Lamar Jackson and Derrick Henry, who, by the way, Derrick Henry just got overtaken for the rushing lead by Saquon Barkley with the Eagles. And go figure, two of the free agent running backs that nobody really gave up on, that nobody wanted to re-sign, they are leading the NFL in rushing, and they both are having all-pro seasons. So there you go. People want to devalue the running back position, but the 2 best running backs in the league could possibly be up for MVP talk at this point. They possibly could be. You know. So the Steelers and the Ravens, man. Look, Lamar Jackson is that dude. You know, a lot of people say, well, he hadn't taken them to the Super Bowl, this and that. He can't get over the Chiefs. I get it, and eventually, I think he's going to get there. But you can't. What can you say about Lamar Jackson? I was watching him when he was at Louisville, and I always said that I thought he was going to make a great quarterback. They were trying to move him to wide receiver. He's like, nah, I ain't having that. I'm a quarterback. I'm gonna do this. I know what I'm doing, and look at what he's done. I mean, he's what two-time NFL MVP. But he does have to get better in the playoffs. You know, outside of all of his achievements during the regular season, again, how you build your status as a one of the greats, you gotta pick it up in the playoffs. So he got to pick it up in the playoffs. But again, this is going to be a big game. Ravens at the Steelers. Whoever wins this is probably going to take control over the AFC North. And oh, by the way, if you watch Hard Knocks in a couple of weeks, they coming with their in-season docu-series, as I call it, and it's going to be focusing on the AFC North division. My guy Harper that's in here, if you're still here, if you watch HBO and you watch Hard Knocks, They doing a docuseries. I think it airs. The first episode airs the first Tuesday in December, which is a couple of weeks from now, and they're focusing on the AFC North division and the race. And right now, again, it's pretty much a two-team race in the AFC North, and that is the Ravens at the Steelers. Now, the late game in that 325 window, we got the 9-0 Kansas City Chiefs undefeated at the 8-2 Bills. You know, I have to say this about the Buffalo Bills. They're running away with their AFC East. I think they 3 games up. Unless they really just have some bad injuries and just falter, they're going to win that division. They are quietly probably one of the teams that's flying under the radar in the AFC. Josh Allen, they made a trade for Amari Cooper. I don't know if Amari Cooper is going to play today. I did read that he has some sort of shoulder situation, so he may not play today. But J-Rod, love the stream, bro. You funny. I appreciate it, J-Rod. Keep tuning in. But I will say this, man. I say the Chiefs, even though they 9-0, they're not an impressive 9-0. They've won some games, damn it, that they shouldn't have won. Let's go and be honest. Sometimes it's better to be lucky than good. And I think the Chiefs, you know what? I was about to give my prediction. I'm not. But I think this game is definitely going to be telling to see where the Chiefs are because they're going into Buffalo. They've had the Bills number 2 in the regular season. So we're going to see what happens. I think Patrick Mahomes is going to struggle early. I think that offensive line is going to struggle early. They struggled last week with the Broncos. That Broncos defensive line ate Patrick Mahomes' lunch. I think they sacked him like 6 times last week. And again, barring a blocked field goal attempt, hell, they should be 8-1 right now. That is the Chiefs. So they putting their 9-0 record up against the 8-2 Bills. And, can this team go undefeated? I asked this question to my good brother Michael Coleman last week, who was a Chiefs fan. He's from the Kansas City area. He's from Lawrence, Kansas, but he grew up a Chiefs fan. And I asked him, can this team go undefeated? And he said he don't think so. And he actually said he wouldn't want them to. He said because he think they need a loss. And I don't know. I think if they win this game, I looked at the Chiefs' schedule. There's a possibility they could run the table and finish the season 17-0. But we're gonna see. But it definitely starts today. I don't think it's gonna be an easy task for them today. So again, we got the 9-0 Chiefs at the 8-2 Bills. That is the CBS game, and that is at 325. Now let's talk about these 2 teams from Texas. Monday night game. 6-4 Houston Texans at the 3-6 Dallas Cowboys. Cowboy fans, how about them boys? Woo! It's a little ugly down up there in Arlington, boy. I tell you, 18. Yeah, it's a little ugly. And this Monday night game, I'll be quite frank with you. I don't give the Cowboys a shot. Let's go and just be honest with you. I'm not gonna poke fun at them. I'm not gonna troll Cowboy fans because y'all suffering enough. So I ain't gonna even mess with you. It ain't even fun trolling Cowboy fans anymore. They just got issues, and I did read that actually CeeDee Lamb, he's questionable with a shoulder injury. He may not even play Monday night, but the Texans will get Nico Harris back. He's going to play Monday night. I mean, Nico Collins. I'm sorry. I don't know why I keep calling him Harris. Nico Collins will play Monday night. The Texans at the Cowboys. Let's just go ahead and just say it right now. The Cowboys are playing for draft positions right now. Cooper Rush is probably going to start. Me personally, I would go ahead and start Trey Lance. Why? You know what Cooper Rush going to get? He gives you. You might as well start Trey Lance just to see what you got and see if he play well. Then he could be possibly. You could use him as trade bait, part of a trade package or whatever if he plays well. So that's my thoughts on that. And then we got all the hype about the rumors going out there, people making segments on Coach Prime could possibly be the next Cowboys head coach because we know Mike McCarthy's in his last year of his deal. I'm sure he won't be back. But Coach Prime has said adamantly that he's not coming to the professional level. But I don't know. You never say never. If it's a package deal, if he can work a deal where he got his son and Travis Hunter, that can come. That could happen. Now again, this is all speculation. It all makes for great sports talk. So don't nobody know if this is gonna happen or not. but you're probably going to keep hearing this Coach Prime connection to the Cowboys. Obviously, he played with Dallas a few seasons, brought them a Super Bowl, so we'll see what happens with that. As far as the Houston Texans, this team is good, but they got some offensive line problems. Christian Watson or Keenan Allen. I would go with Keenan Allen, Gavin, if I were you. I know you're talking about Fantasy League. Anthony says Jacoby Myers or Brian Thomas, I'm sorry. I may well go with Jacoby Myers on that one, Anthony. But the Houston Texans, they got to fix their offensive line because CJ Stroud hasn't had much time. He's getting hit a lot. He's taking a lot of sacks. But so they've had some injuries up front. So they're gonna have to figure that out as well. But I still think the Texans, they're going to be a team. They're going to make the playoffs. They're making this AFC South division a little more tight than I thought it was going to be. I thought they was going to run away with this thing, but the Colts are kind of sticking around. They're going to they going back to Anthony Richardson as their starter after that 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 foot in his mouth. He put his foot in his mouth a couple of weeks ago during his press conference when he tapped himself out. But now they're going back to him. Joe Flacco again. Joe Flacco is a usable backup, but he's no longer the guy that he should be. J-Rod said, thoughts on the Giants. Afterthoughts on the Giants. I think they got to find them a quarterback. Daniel Jones, he ain't it. Yeah, they're gonna have to figure out, man, because they got that talented rookie receiver, man, that they can't let him get used up. They already used up Saquon Barkley and kicked him out the door. You paid Daniel Jones before you paid Saquon Barkley. Anyway, that's the Giants being the Giants. So they are 2-17. They're not going anywhere until they figure out their quarterback situation. And they may, Brian Daboll might be on the hot seat. I don't know. They may, a couple of years ago it was funny. A couple of years ago, they were 10-6, I want to say, and they made it to the playoffs. I want to say in the second season. So the Giants are just going to giant until they figure out their quarterback position. And we could say that about most NFL teams. If your quarterback situation is rocky, it's going to be a rocky season for you no matter what. And I don't care how great your defense do and all that. So here we go. My sister said, I know off current topic, but who won the fight? We're going to talk about that in a freestyle moment, little sis. But Jake Paul won the fight. Yeah, if you want to call it that. But I did a segment on it. I did a longer segment on it. I posted here on my TikTok. You can check it out, little sis, at your convenience. My thoughts on it. But again, so the Giants, again, yeah, they're not going anywhere. They're looking for. I see you, Skull, Minnesota Vikings. Yeah, another NFC North rival. Yeah, so that's where we have it with these games. As far as, again, Texans and Cowboys. Again, I think we all know the Cowboys are cooked, and the Texans, I think they just hit a couple of speed bumps, but I think once they get a couple of those offensive linemen back, I think they will be okay. So let's get down to some of our NFL news and notes that went down this week in the NFL. Speaking of offensive linemen, if you hadn't heard, Connor Williams, he was a former Cowboys lineman as well, former Dolphin and former Seahawk. He abruptly retired at the age of 27. Why they cook? Oh, I know, little sis, you be on the road. The Cowboys are 3-6. And Dak Prescott is out for the season. He's done. He's done for the year. So, Wisconsin is now and will be known for Skull. Wisconsin is Viking country. Hey, God, man, I'm going to kick you out my chat. You must be out. Hey, God, now that's blasphemy. You know good and well Wisconsin is not Viking country. Man, I'm about to kick you out this chat. Boy, that's the funniest joke I've ever heard. But anyway, appreciate you popping in, God. It's all love. But again, Connor Williams, he's retired at the age of 27. Also, Chiefs quarterback and Patrick Mahomes and tight end Travis Kelce. If you hadn't heard, they both had their homes broken into back in early October while they were playing a Monday night game versus the New Orleans Saints. Whoever broke it, they still investigating. They don't have any suspects, but whomever broke into Kelce's home, they were able to steal $20,000. So again, That's crazy. They both had. I'm sure they live in gated communities, so I'm just trying to figure out how in the hell did that happen. But again, so that's just something they still the KC Police Department is still investigating that. And just a couple of game notes. I did read just before I came on that 49ers tight end George Kittle is most likely not going to play versus the Seahawks today because of a hamstring injury. So again, those were some of the news and notes for today from around the league. Now let's get down to my pick six. This is where I choose 6 games and what I call Kendrick's pick six, and I pick a winner and I pick a score. So I'm going to do that right now, and I got to tell you what my picks looked like last week. Last week I went perfect. My week 10 picks, I was 6-6. And now my season record for my pick six, I am 37-23. So that is a pretty good record. So now let's get down to my NFL pick six, week 11. Again, we got 7 more weeks of this season to go, of the regular season, and then we can start talking about the playoffs. All right, let's start with the Packers at the Bears. 6-3 Packers at the 4-5 Bears. I spoke about this in the previous segment. I think my Packers have owned the Bears for quite a few years now, and I still think they're going to own them. We're going to go into it ain't Soldiers Field. I guess it's still called Soldiers Field or whatever it is. I know they're trying to get a new stadium. We're going to go in. We're going to take care of business. I picked the Packers 27-13 over the Bears, big NFC North rival. All right, my second game of the pick six. Got the 2-8 Jaguars at the 8-1 Lions, who I think is no, it ain't probably. They are the best team in the NFC and possibly the best team in the NFL. Jaguars don't have a chance. I don't think Trevor Lawrence is playing. I know he didn't play last week. I'm not sure if he's going to play this week. But Jaguars don't have a chance. Lions, they're the hottest team in the league. They're 8-1. I picked the Lions 40-17 over the Jags. Now, 7-3 Ravens at the 7-2 Steelers. A big AFC North showdown, knockdown for first place is on the line in that division. Most likely, whoever takes over that is probably going to take over the division. This is a tough one, man. I think this is a toss-up, but I think the Ravens' run attack is what's going to be the key and what's going to get the win for them. Again, Ravens at the Steelers. I picked the Ravens 28-21 over the Steelers. 9-0 Chiefs at the 8-2 Bills. Again, undefeated. The Chiefs are the only undefeated team in the league at the 8-2 Bills. They've been playing some good ball. Big AFC conference showdown. I think the Chiefs. I think the buck stops here. I think their undefeated season is comes to a halt. I picked the Bills in a tight one, 27-24. 4-5 Seahawks at the 5-4 49ers. This is a big NFC West division. That division is really tight. Most teams, Arizona, I believe, is leading the division at 5, but all these teams got 5 and 4 wins. So this division is going to go down to the wire. Again, Seahawks at the 49ers. Tight end George Kittle most likely won't play, but I don't think it matters. I picked the 49ers to beat the Seahawks 30-12. And then the Monday night game, the 6-4 Texas, the Battle of Texas, the Battle of the Boot, the Battle of the Cowboy Hat, the Battle of the Wild Wild West, however you want to call it, at the 3-6 Cowboys. The Cowboys' misery continues in this miserable season for them. I picked the Texans to win that 37-10. Again, that is the Monday night game. So those are Kendrick's pick six for the week. And we'll see how I do. Hopefully I can keep up my good streak. Now, my freestyle moment. Somebody, we were talking about that fight that went down Friday night. Netflix has some issues with that. And by the way, Netflix they're going to have to figure something out because they are actually broadcasting 2 games on NFL games on Christmas. So they can't have their streaming platform crash. So they got to do better. No, I did not watch the UFC, J-Rod. I did see I think John Jones won, I believe, but I did not watch that. But to the Tyson and this Jake Paul fight, my thoughts, I didn't have any expectations. I think, I took it for what it was worth. Jake Paul, I mean, he cleared $40 million. Mike Tyson cleared $20 million. I can't be mad at them making it happen. 70,000 spectators packed in AT&T. You had 280 million Netflix subscribers trying to watch it and crash the site. It was what it was. I didn't expect a boxing match. I figured it was going to be what it was. I figured Jake Paul was going to either win and people say, well, you beat a 58-year-old former heavyweight champ, or either he was going to lose and get clowned because he lost to a former 58-year-old heavyweight champ. And, my thing is, I really just give hats off to Mike for being 58 years old and to be able to go in, fight 2 minutes, and go 8 rounds. What 58-year-old person you think can get in a boxing ring and go 2 minutes per round and go 8 rounds? Nobody. I'm 55. I know I damn sure can't get in there and do that. Did he really win? I mean, the judges said he did, little sis. Again, I think people are focusing on the wins and loss, who won the loss. For me, it wasn't about who won the loss. It was about seeing a 58-year-old former world heavyweight champ get in the ring to do something that most 58-year people can't do. And that's box a 27-year-old. Now, again, I think Jake Paul probably took it easy. I'm not saying I think he did. Yep, Tyson collected that bag as a good businessman should. And I totally agree, little sis. I agree. So I don't know why people get in here. It's a lot of people I've been not in here per se, not in the chat or on. I've been reading a lot of comments. People called it a clown show. They said this was a disgrace to boxing. But boxing has been a disgrace for the last 20 years. How's this going to make it even worse? That's my thoughts on it. It was what it was. And obviously, 280 million people tuned in, 70,000 people packed the AT&T. So obviously, it was entertainment. So again, I salute Mike Tyson, considering all the things that he's had to overcome, some of his own doing. He was his biggest enemy, But my thing is, at 58 years old, to be able to still get in there, considering the health scare he had a couple of months ago as well, on that flight to get in there, to be able to kind of fight. Hey, I mean, hats off to him. J. Rod says, ever since the Mayweather-Pacquiao fight, boxing has not been good. It's been all UFC. J. Rod, I do kind of agree with you. I do. It's kind of turned into a UFC event, and I love boxing. Boxing, I don't really, UFC is cool, but I've always I grew up watching boxing from the 80s era, the Durans and the Sugar Ray Leonards, the Thomas Hearns, and all that. So why did they have his buzz out like that? That's a Netflix thing, little sis. They messed up. They should have, they had some technical issues. Somebody should have cut away from that angle. Good Lord. Yeah, if y'all didn't see, yeah. So that Netflix, they got some bugs they got to iron out before they do these NFL games in a couple of weeks. Brent Gilho says, best TD score prop you got. Okay. Hey, reword that. I want to answer that for you, Brent Gilho. Best TD scorer prop you got. I'm trying to understand it. Let me finish. Let me get back to that. But I would say this again. It was a win. It was a win-win. Unfortunately, for some of us viewers, it wasn't. So it wasn't a win-win. Josh, who is this? Jack Space 3 times Richards. Hey, thanks for popping in. Jerry Jones was able to close the curtains for the fight, but not for the Cowboys. I'm glad you brought that up, Jack. Thanks for popping in on YouTube. Appreciate that. Yeah, that was a big issue too. They was all tripping about those curtains, the sunlight last week when the Cowboys played the Eagles. And, the sun, it's always been like that. And then Jerry Jones was asked about covering it up with the curtains. And he's like, nah, I ain't trying to do that. But yet they were able to cover up that crap with the curtain during this fight. Yeah, so, man, that's Jerry Jones for you. That's Jerry Jones for you. So, again, I think I can't be mad at Tyson. I can't be mad at Jake Paul for getting that bag. Hey, get your money. I ain't mad at you. my freestyle moment I really want to talk about real quick before I get out of here. I want to talk about this running back out of Boise State that nobody's really talking about. His name is Ashton Jeanty. If you hadn't heard of this young fellow, and again, the running back position has somewhat been devalued, but watch this young fellow, who actually, by the way, says he wants to be drafted by the Cowboys. He may want to change his mind, his thinking on that. But anyway, Ashton Jeanty for the Boise State. He rushed for 32. He had 32 carries, 159 yards, and 3 touchdowns last night versus San Jose State. For the season, he has 1,893 yards through 10 games. Everyone is talking about Jeanty. He's unbelievable. I hear you, J-Rod. I think he is too. But on the national level, a lot of people, they've been hush-hush. But this young fella is on pace to rush for over 2,400 yards. The record at the FBS level is 2,628 yards, and it was set in 1988 by Hall of Famer Barry Sanders, who was at Oklahoma State at the time. Got to run. I left a gift for you with mommy. Thank you, little sis. Love you. Be safe out there on them roads too. Love you. But again, Ashton Jeanty should be the front runner for the Heisman. I said should be. But again, everybody likes to look at the quarterback position. But again, there's 2 other players that should be in this talk too. And I think one of them is Colorado Buffalo's defensive back, Travis Hunter. He should be in the talk too. At wide receiver, he has caught 74 balls this season for 911 yards, 9 touchdowns. As a cornerback, he has 8 passes defended and 3 interceptions, and he plays probably over 100 snaps per game. He plays both ways. Travis Hunter should be in the talk, and he is. Probably should be the front runner for the Heisman. And also his quarterback, Shedeur Sanders. He's 208. He has 280 completions, 384 attempts, 72.9% completion percentage. He's thrown for 3,222 yards, 27 touchdowns, and only 7 interceptions. And the Buffalo's got that big win over Utah, and they have put themselves in a position to probably play for the Big 12 championship and possibly sneak in a college football playoff. Those Shedeur Sanders, yes. So he should be in the talk for Heisman Trophy as well. So Ashton Jeanty, Travis Hunter, Shedeur Sanders, those names should be invited to New York in a couple of weeks. Now, again, this Heisman Trophy selection is coming up in a couple of weeks. So those are the 3 that should be in it. That is my thoughts. You know, I'd like to know yours. Leave it in the comments. And actually put your pick 6 in there, the games that I also put in there. Do that for me if you don't mind. So, again, we've come down to the end of the show. I want to thank everybody for popping in and actually conversing with your boy on today. You can catch me here every Sunday morning at 10:30 a.m. on TikTok as well as on YouTube and Facebook at TFG Sports Media. I'm going to be giving you your previews of the upcoming NFL games to the end of the season. So we're going to talk about that. But I also got to give a special shout out to a little princess of mine, Miss Avery. Miss Avery says, I always talk in my broadcasting voice. And she is the beautiful daughter of my beautiful friend, beautiful lady, Elizabeth Mitchell. So I got to give a shout out to Avery today. I'm going to have to figure out how she said I need to stop talking like I'm on air or I'm broadcasting. So I'm going to have to figure that out. I'm going to have to find me a new voice. And I got you, Avery. I heard you, Elizabeth. I heard you, Nicole. I'm going to figure this out how I can. I can't change. I don't know how I'm going to change it. I'm 55. This is the voice I was given. I don't know if I'm going to be able to change it. But anyway, I wanted to give a shout out to them before I got out of here. So again, I want to thank everybody for popping in. Again, make sure you keep it locked here for all your sports news, live streams, breaking news. If you haven't subscribed to TFG Sports Media on YouTube as well as Kendrick Sports Hustle. That's SportsHustle. Subscription don't cost you nothing. Hit that little notification bell to be alerted when new content is coming your way. Also, you can follow me on Facebook at Kendrick Roland Henderson. You can follow Kendrick Sports Hustle on Facebook as well as TFG Sports Media on Facebook. You can follow me on Instagram at KDrick1969 and right here on TikTok. Click that follow button. You can follow me, Kendrick Henderson 51. So all that. Man, holler at your boy. Again, you know I always got to say it. It's always a great day to be what? Always a great day to be a Packers fan. So Packers, we're going to go get them Bears today at 12 noon. Again, y'all keep it locked here. I'll catch you back here next Sunday morning at 10:30 a.m. I am Kendrick, the sports guy. We will see you on the other side and on the next report. I am out. Peace.